Okay, topic number one that I want to talk about broadly, right now, is gender. Maybe I'll just talk about gender. I started making a list of topics. It says topics on it, and that's as far as I got. I really don't know how to make lists. I'm horribly organized. If anyone out there can give me tips on how to make these things, insightful, funny, just help me out. Because you don't want to keep watching this crap. Anyway, let's start. Gender. Okay, so that's my mom. Anyway, so I only have a couple. Oh crap! I had pasta boiling and I forgot about it. Okay, now that I'm done with my dinner that I nearly, boiled into oblivion, gender. Okay, so this is probably something YouTubers have heard many times before, because YouTube is a pretty huge venue for, as far as I've looked into YouTube, maybe I'm just watching specific videos, for, like issues of transgendered people and genderqueer people and, XSY people and intersex people and whatever. And, it's always just been a topic that's really fascinated me. So why is this? Well, of course, it all starts out with kind of, this guilty curiosity, because, I'm not female to male, I'm not anything like that. I'm comfortable with my body, not to say there's anything wrong with people who aren't. In fact, I think they're very brave for, anyone who's miserable and actually does something about it and doesn't just wallow in their own misery. That takes a lot of bravery. And especially in a society that says, you shouldn't be miserable and what's wrong with you and you're an abomination. So it started out with just questioning sexuality, because at the time that's what I was doing. And I started getting interested in those issues, and because the gender community, the transgender community and the gay community kind of blend together on certain issues, they're kind of persecuted as if they're the same thing, they're kind of treated as if sexuality and gender are the same thing. That's what led to finding out about the other. It's kind of like, it was so unknown to me at the time. It's something that's still so unknown, still not paid very much attention to, the attention that it should be, not in a negative sense, but in like a supportive sense, a medical support sense, all that kind of stuff, a national support sense that people can get punished for committing crimes against these people. It should. And I went and I started doing research. Research meaning I started around like 7th grade just reading, blogs, reading comics drawn by people about their experience who were willing to share it. Not to say that everyone who goes through something like that needs to share it, because I know I've been through some horrible things that I don't want to share, but people who do put themselves out there for the education of people like me and of people who aren't like me, who are much more intolerant and need to figure out what the fuck they're talking about, and open themselves up for attack, those people have been of immense value to me. Alright, so there's obvious reason why I chose this topic for today, and it's mostly because of, like, most of my reason for talking about anything, of personal things that I've been going through that I can actually, create an argument around. So, I recently come to understand the whole idea of being genderqueer a little more, just as I've come to understand the idea of being generally queer a little more. And it makes a lot of sense to me, because my personal philosophy, has kind of fallen into this whole thing where I believe that, it just makes sense, nothing is ever gained, nothing ever losed, and we're all part of the same thing. And if we're all part of the same thing, then all these stupid distinctions we make between, people based on their body parts and their nether regions just don't make any sense. And why can't a person identify as both male and female? Why can't a person who's male identify as female? And why can't we just look at each other as human beings rather than, woman and man? Because that's the most essential divide in our society ever. It's 50-50. It's always been there. Women have always been different than men, and for most of history, women have been inferior to men. And I've been having some own, doubts, I guess, just because personally, like, I'm realizing that maybe I don't identify as firmly as, you know, my physical sex, female, as I thought I did. Now, most people don't realize this, but I'm actually, or maybe you have already from just watching me, but I'm a very anxious person. And I'm not really confident, and I'm very insecure sometimes. And I found lately that dressing like this, with a more masculine aesthetic, has made me feel a lot more confident and a lot happier than dressing more female, because I feel like, I guess I've just had some issues lately because I've lost weight recently and stuff with guys. Now, this is not to say that any sexual attraction between people is objectifying. I'm strongly against that belief as well, because I think it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like, women can be just as empowered by having sex as men, but, you know, I just not the kind of guys that I was hanging out with. They were kind of jerks. As I started making these observations about myself and the fact that, you know, I was becoming increasingly uncomfortable with dressing feminine and increasingly uncomfortable with acting feminine around other people just to boost their attraction to me, basically, which is a horrible way of getting attention, but that's basically what you have to do. You have to be more submissive, you have to be more this way, that way, and also some problems I've been having personally with my own personality, because I'm very submissive just naturally, and I like to please people, and that's gotten me into some trouble because I haven't learned when to say no sir, and I haven't really learned how to make strong decisions for myself. And I feel like, you know, this is all contributing to the fact that maybe it's just because I'm using this because men are traditionally viewed as more powerful, and I want to feel more powerful, and, like, I have more control over my life, but maybe it's because, like, I just don't feel like I'm a girl. Like, I think the traditional definition of girl is pretty not for me. And, like, I may have some traits that are, like, you know, considered feminine or masculine, but, like, I don't understand the label on those traits. I don't understand, like, why we have to put a gender on our personalities. Like, yeah, I guess I act like a girl sometimes, just naturally, but I don't know, I would have to get someone else's opinion on me. I don't know how I act, whether it's more like a girl or more like a guy, but why does that matter? Like, why do we have to define things as being more like a girl or more like a guy? Because anyone can have any personality trait ever. Like, it doesn't work like that. Because some people do feel really strongly they're a girl, and it doesn't have anything to do with society's stereotypes, which are dumb, which are always dumb. It has to do with them just knowing they're a girl, be they biologically female already, or, you know, whatever. But there's never been a connection there to an identity as female or as male, which now, looking back, probably contributed to my interest and, you know, in people who felt really strongly about that, and people who felt really strongly they were female or male, because I just didn't understand it. Okay, wrapping this up really short and sweet because I was trying to keep this under 9 minutes so people could pay attention to it. I'm not really sure about anything I'm saying here. This is just me kind of rambling off, trying to get some opinions. Please, questions, comments, more details, anything. I need something to talk about. Thank you guys. Bye.